Hello and welcome, Mr. Yusuf.
Thank you.
You are a Somalian and you work with Lutheran Social Services in Minnesota, right?
That's right.
How do you, what are your goals as a program manager for refugee immigration services in Minnesota?
It primarily involves with resettling refugees from around the world who are coming to the United States. We primarily work with refugees from East Africa, like Somalia, some Eritrea. Also, we work with refugees that are coming from Nepal, who are originally from the country of Bhutan. And we also work with refugees who are coming from Thailand, and those refugees are originally from the country of Burma. So primarily, I work in the refugee resettlement office for Lutheran Social Service System. We resettle these refugees when they first come to America. So we make sure that they have, we first meet them at the airport, and we place them their housing, and make sure the kids are enrolled in school, and make sure that um, they need what they, the basic needs of life. So we work with first 3 months to make sure that their needs are met. So those are the work that we do at the Refugee Resettlement Office, and I supervise some of the staff that work with refugees, and it's been great.
It's been great. Okay, you did mention some of the goals for the program, which they sound very, very excellent. But what are your primary focuses? Like when you receive refugees from Somalia, you receive refugees from Sierra Leone. Let's assume that they are full-grown refugees like myself. What do you expect from them? Mostly like people from your country, Somalia. We know Somalia is not an English country. So what do you expect from them as immigrants in the United States? What do you hope for them to achieve?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's very hard when the first time when the refugees come to America, um, for them, they have higher expectations of the United States. When they come to America, they believe or they think or they hear other people back in the refugee camp or maybe in their homeland that America there is land of opportunity. There is money all over the place. There is everything's so easy. But when they get here, things do change. When they get here, they face totally different experience. It's very hard because they don't speak the language, and it's very hard because they don't have any skills or some of the skills that they can use for this new country. So we have some expectations for first of all, which is for them to be able to learn the language, which is the English language. So we try to make sure that they're going to ESL classes. They're taking some classes so they can learn English, and we make sure that they are able to get some skills where they can get employment. A lot of the refugees who come into America are working in meat, processing plants. Some of them are doing housekeeping. So they actually are able to live a decent life and make sure they can raise their family. So refugees are eager. They're so excited when they come to America to be able to go to work. So because they don't get any money from anywhere else, because when they first come, they only get one paycheck, and a lot of people don't know this. They think that the U.S. government is giving them handouts or money for free, but they only get one paycheck, and it's about $900 per person. That's one check, $900 per person, for them to get a housing, for them to get pay their bills, and to have food and all that. And $900 is not enough.
So
it's not even enough for the housing.
are you trying to say when they come, they arrive in Minnesota, they only give them $900 for the entire per person for the entire 6 months or for the entire lifetime?
That's it.
Because when I came to North Dakota, they used to give us $300 per person every month.
So
that was for 6 months.
Exactly. The way it works is when the refugees come to the United States, the U.S. government has a welcoming check, which is $900 per person. That welcome check is for their housing, for their food, for their clothing, everything that they need to use when they are here in the country. After that, if they are a family, we make sure that they can find employment. If they cannot find employment, the only thing that they receive is only funds for like food support, that they can get from the county, and small cash assistance. That's only used for if they are not working, and that money depends on how many people in the household and how many people are working and not. So, but the first time when they come here, they only get that $900 for them to live on. That's it, nothing else. But if they are working and they're low income, sometimes they can get some assistance in terms of like food support, and that's only lasts limited time. They don't get it forever. It's only limited time to kind of subsidize their income. But they do have to find employment themselves, and a lot of refugees are like that. They go out, they even move to some places where they can get a job. So, and they struggle in the first few months. We've seen it, but at the end of the day, we know that these refugees are survivors. They have lived in hard lives in refugee camps, and they know how to make it work in America, even though they will struggle in terms of language, in terms of transportation, all that stuff. But we have a lot of success stories. A lot of refugees are now, college graduates. A lot of them are business owners. A lot of them
like yourself.
A lot of them are all over the place. So it's really, really, at the end of a few years down the road, you can see the change.
Okay. As a Somalian, because my country too fought war. I am from Sierra Leone. My country fought war for a very long time, but we were able to find solutions, and the civil war went over with the help of United Nations and even ourselves, because we realized that fighting was just a senseless something. Very recently, you democratically elected a president in Somalia after many years. How do you feel about that as a Somalian in the United States?
I was very excited about that, and you brought up a good point. Some countries in Africa that went through civil war, they've been in a civil war for many years, and some of them have managed to overcome that problem. Somalia has been in a civil war for the last 22 years, and finally now there is a permanent, democratically elected president, and this has not happened in about 40 years in Somalia. So this is a big change. And a lot of people have hope that the history of civil war will end.
So what do you expect this president to accomplish? Because he has a very huge task to accomplish as a president. Because imagine a country that fought war for 10, 15 years. Somalians are all over the world. They are in the United States. I don't talk about Minnesota. I sometimes joke that Minnesota is Mogadishu. Yes. So I know a lot of Somalians are very happy. Yeah. But the president has a huge tax. How do you feel this president will be able to handle the devastated Somalia that we know?
I believe, he is the right person for the job, because this guy, the new president, he is someone who is very educated, who have a lot of knowledge about the Somali people. He is not one of those warlords that was part of the conflict, that was part of the problem in Somalia. So he's well prepared to take the job, and I believe he will make a change for the people of Somalia. And it's not only him; he needs the support of the people, and he needs the support of the diaspora, people who are already, as you mentioned, in Minnesota, we have a lot of Somalis. So we will have to be able to go back, rebuild the country, invest our money in it, and do the same thing that other countries are doing. So, for example, Sierra Leone, Liberia, a lot of people that went through the civil war now, even look for Brazil. They had struggles, they have had many problems, and now see how the country is flourishing. So we definitely think this is the end of the civil war for Somalia. I think this is a change, this is a hope for all the people excited about it. I am very excited about it, and I'm very optimistic about the future for Somali people.
Okay, I know a lot of Somalians are Muslims. And even though you live in a very diverse community, as compared to mine in North Dakota, you live in a very diverse community in Minnesota. But I still see some Islamic problems coming up from Minnesota, and Somalians are very proud of being Muslims. They are very proud of their religion. How do you solve those problems that arise between you and the non-Muslims in Minnesota?
I think that's a very good question, because this is actually a situation that's happening as we speak. There are some issues within the community, faith community, and some other people are very they take very seriously their religion. It's very important to them.
It's very important to them, yeah.
Yes, so whether it's prayer, whether it's speaking out what's right, what's wrong. So I think that the best thing to do, the smart thing to do, is to follow the steps and the peaceful way of resolving any issue. So no violence, nothing like that. I think we have the Somali people are very, they like to talk if there is an issue, and I think the non-Muslims, as long as they are respectful, they're not trying to be ignorant or anything like that. The issues are already like we have some problems with people that were some mosques that were marked as like they harboring terrorists or whatever, but that's not the case. It was misunderstanding. So I think that a lot of things would change if we would just sit down and all of us speak. And I think some other people know that, and Islamic religion teaches us to be peaceful, which is a lot of media makes it look different.
Yeah.
But to be truly Muslim, you have to be a peaceful person, and no matter what, you have to respect other religions. So I think if we all sit down and talk about it, we'll be we can overcome the problems.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you for your contribution in this community conversation. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.